See that guy down there, riding his bike in the sunshine? Yeah, that's me. In 1988, maybe 1990, it's hard to remember, it's such a long time ago now, I flew out to Kefalonia on my honeymoon. And the minute I got off the plane, I noticed something weird had happened to me. The hairs on my arm stood up, and the back of my neck, I felt really odd, like I'd come home. Now I know a lot of you say that, but this really is my spiritual home. I've spent all the years since trying to make the dream come true. And when Brexit happened, I applied for my biometric. And now, I live here. Now over the years, as you can see, if you've been coming a long time, Lourdes has changed immensely. There was one taverna on that beach when I first came, and none of these houses were here, maybe one or two. So you could say that me and the island have changed a lot over the years. I mean, I'm divorced now. Some things are for good, some things are for the worse. I mean, the divorce was terrible, but I've got 2 good children out of it. And I suppose the island now generates a good income for the people who live here. So it's not all bad. If you could, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like, share and subscribe, sat back and enjoyed the ride. Who am I? Well, my name's Rudgy, otherwise known to the bike world as the Doctor. So, let's get into it and see what's going on in my life today, shall we? It's Friday, here we go. Right, you guys, so what did you think of the new intro? I know a lot of you were complaining about the hit the like, hit the share and hit the subscribe, and the coffee page. Thank you very much for visiting that. It's a huge support to me. So I thought I'd try something different. So that's probably going to be how things go from now on. But let me know if it's too long or too short. It's always difficult hitting the right balance, and as my gran used to say, you can't please all of the people all of the time. So where am I? Well, I'm just up the road from where I used to live in Spillier, actually, and the reason for that is that I didn't do an intro on the beach that we're about to visit. So there you go. Should we get on with the video? I think we will. Right, well, time to go and pick another friend of mine up, Timboat Andy and his missus. Quite excited. I haven't seen him for a couple of years or so, I don't know. Right, let's go. Let's get out here and well, some of my friends pick the right times to come out there, don't they? We haven't had any rain since April, and now we've got one of the worst storms we've had for a long time coming in, apparently. I'm not sure the plane's going to be able to land in that. Airport's over that way, so yeah. Well, I drove all the way out to the airport only to find that it was delayed, and then I got a call, a message I found to say that they'd flown into Athens, had been diverted. I'm not surprised, you can't see the end of the runway. So I've come home, I'm going to have a sandwich, a cup of tea, and when Andy lands he can message me. I'm only 20 minutes away, so he can message me when he lands. By the time I get there they'll be coming through customs. Let's try that. It's just one of the things about living there. In the meantime, you know Ian Redman? Yeah, he's brought me a Red Cross parcel. All the stuff they haven't used, I would think, while they were here on holiday. Really useful. Fantastic. Thanks, Ian. I'm just going to put that away now. Sorry I missed you, but I was out trying to pick some friends up from the airport. In hindsight, I could have been here. You could have had a coffee with me, couldn't you? Been nice to have seen Sarah as well. Anyway, let's crack on, get me breakfast. I can't stand the rain on my window. Brings back sweet memories. I can't remember who that was, so leave it in the comments. We've completely lost sight of Vlahata and Lordas now, and only just about make out Masata. And they've got to land a plane in that. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, we're back at the airport, but it's a reminder of how badly wrong things can go. It's about 2 o'clock, I think, now, and they were supposed to land at just gone 11. So, yeah, they've been via Athens. And I don't think they got off the plane. I think they've been stuck on the plane all this time. Long day for them. But yeah, as you can see, the weather's cleared up a little. It's not raining. Still pretty cloudy, but visibility is better. Anyway, I'm going to go and pick them up and then we'll crack on with this video. Yeah, well, there's a contrast from the other night. Crystal clear down there now, as you can see. All back to normal. There, that's where we're going. There. Right, here we go. I just had some kind guys on a car pull up to see if I was alright. Get that anymore, yeah. Anyway.
Okay, right. Well, if you come in from the other end of the car park, if you turn in where the big sign is for the I've just videoed, I usually pull up at the steps and walk down. But if you go left and go to the other end of the car park, that brings you to this sloped area here, which some of you might find a bit easier, and it's not so far down either. So we're going to explore the other end of the beach now. We did do this beach, me and the Hobbit, beginning of the year, I think it was. I made a climb up the watchtower that the lifeguards use, if you remember. Those of you who watch me regular. Those of you who don't, well, this will all be new to you, won't it? Right, let's go and have a look. It's one of the more famous beaches on the island. As you can see, there's a nice slope to walk down. And looks like there's a little bar down here. It's all your signage. You can see the reason why this beach is so popular. It's pure sand. Yeah, as you can see, there's still plenty of sunbeds for you to hire, if that's what you want to do. Have a wander down there, see what's going on.
What was the name?
Yeah, so as you can see, plenty of brollies for you. I think that's a lot more tasteful and makes a lot more sense than what they've had in previous years. As you know, I'm not a fan of brollies and sunbeds. As you can see, the sea's not exactly rough, but there is a good swell running. And we have another storm coming in Wednesday, Thursday, which is why I'm out filming today, which is Monday. Hobbit's working, trying to pay the bills. If somebody could buy one of her houses, it'd be nice. I hardly see her at the moment. Anyway. And if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the Queen Bee boats coming back in. Looks like Queen Bee 2. Queen Bee, the original Queen Bee is a bit smaller. Anyway, I'm going to head off in that direction, because that's where the bike's at, and might even get a coffee. So yeah, you access the hotel beach, which, as far as I know, is public. I don't think you're allowed to own a beach in Greece. You can access it by these rocks. So if you're fairly able-bodied, it's not a major problem. And as you know, my knee's not so good, and I've managed it. So there you go. Right, let's go and get a coffee. can, by the looks of it, or we can hire paddle boards from over there and pedlos with slides on for the children. And for those of you wondering by the tone of my voice, I pick up on these things when I'm editing. I'll start thinking about it a bit more now. Yeah, I had a rough few days mentally. I know we've had a storm and the sun will come back out. And really, we're going to be good for this sort of weather right the way through. It's not been out the window for it to be like this in December. I've done a few videos in December when it's been sunny, but of course it means that winter's on its way, and I hate that. It means dark, dull days, cold, which I don't like. It does get cold here, although Jimmy Wednesday and the Wednesday House let me have their old gas heater, which they've only used once. It was brand new, so I've retired my old one. That can go in the bathroom. And now I've got a brand new one, which is probably going to be more economic. It certainly chucks out a lot more heat, so we're having that in the living room. But yeah, been struggling a bit. You know how it is. And if you're struggling, ring somebody, have a chat with them, you know? Always helps. I'll put some numbers on for you if you're really struggling. And if you're really struggling and I've been there, don't do that. There's always somebody who wants you on this planet, I can guarantee that. You're not an inconvenience. Somebody somewhere loves you and would be devastated if you weren't here anymore. So think about that. It's what keeps me going. My kids mainly. And the small circle of close friends that I've got, very supportive of me. And thanks for that, guys, because they'll be watching. Anyway, yeah, a great day to be alive. Have to remind yourself sometimes, don't you? Dreams, well, they do come true. True story. Having said that, as my gran once said, be careful what you wish for. You might just get what you thought you wanted. So I'm going to now explore this cafe bar up here. I'll let you know what that's like. Look at the Queen Bee there. Now, I reckon it's getting on for 5 o'clock. And I can tell you how I know that. I worked on a charter yacht about 5-6 years ago, and that's when we all head off back home. Right, let's go and have a look at this bar. And if you were wondering, yeah, they've got this down where the sunbeds are, which is great. It means I haven't got to struggle in the sun. Although it gives me a good workout, I need the exercise.
There's something sweet on the side.
So there you go, there's this week's beach. I don't know whether you noticed those prices. I did film it for you. €10 for a milkshake. And I think they wanted $5.50 for a cappuccino. No, I have no sympathy for them if they don't make any money, because that's the very thing that's killing this industry off here, in my opinion. And before some of the people who own these properties start going, oh, well, it's this, it's that. I have a lot of friends that are in business here, and, you know, they're all saying the same thing. If you're too greedy, people won't buy it. €30 for a sunbed? Really? The beach is nice, but come on guys, they're going to bring a blooming brolly and a towel down, aren't they? Yeah. I'm beginning to think those days are over. Hopefully. Let's hope that in the next year or two, some of the business owners in this area see some sense, because I'm not paying $5.50 for a coffee. That's just ridiculous. I mean, up by my village, I can get a meal for that. But it's my job to report that sort of stuff, and that's what I'm doing, I suppose. It's a shame. I would have liked, it's a nice place. I would have liked to have sat there. And not at that price. And €10 for a milkshake. If you've got kids, you need to know about these things. I mean, if you've got 2 kids, that's €20 for a drink that isn't going to last them 5 seconds. And that is the airport just over there. So remember, you have to contend with the airplanes taking off. Incidentally, I hadn't thought about this. I did a news report from the airport a few minutes ago and got told off. Told I'm not allowed to do it on airport property, and I'm certainly not allowed to video the front of the airport. So the guy was very nice, and if he's watching, I apologise, I didn't realise, mate. He did let me keep the footage though, said I could use that, so that's nice of him. They could have been a bit more awkward about that. So if you're videoing the airport, just remember that. You're allowed to, he said you're allowed to video out of the airport property, but you're not allowed to video the frontage, because that belongs to them. Oh well, there you have it. I'll video from upstairs next time. They can't do much about that. Right, I'm going to get off home and have a coffee for free, because I'll have it in. 1 bag of coffee, €3.50 from Lidl's, and it lasts me 2 weeks, something like that. Let's crack on. Hope you enjoyed the beach anyway. Leave in the comments what you thought. I know a few of you who come to Lassie like to go down there. Expensive though, be warned. Okay, and in case you were wondering, yeah, the beach that I walked along to, that me and the Hobbit filmed on the beginning of the year, was that one. The one I finished on, where all the sunbeds are, is Costa. I forgot to mention that. It looks to me like the beach isn't big enough to do what they wanted to do in previous years. No surprise to you guys, that suits me. Too many sunbeds. It looked like a much happier beach to me. Yeah, anyway, like I say, be warned, very expensive at Costa. But you don't have to go in these places, and I should really have found out what the hotel bar was like price-wise. I didn't ask. That may be cheaper. If you know, leave in the comments, because that will be useful for other people. And I know a lot of you read the comments, including me. I don't always answer the comments because, quite frankly, I'm quite busy these days. But if I think I need to, I will. And I will always address things that are important in the following video. Keep you guys watching. That's why I do that. Anyway, I'm off for a coffee at home, which will be way cheaper. Okay guys, before we carry on with the video, I've had a few questions on the comments section which I feel I ought to answer. As you know, I don't answer them directly unless it's really important. I like to do it this way. It keeps you guys watching. Somebody asked about the golden visa. We are going to do a thing about that if I can bolt Jackie down. She's under a lot of stress at the moment with all sorts of things, so I haven't bothered her. Yeah, the golden visa for Kefalonia is definitely 800,000, and I think you'll find any inhabited island over 3,500, it will be 800,000. But you need to check it out on the Greek government site, because they do vary from Athens and places around there. But yeah, it's 800,000 to move here. What was the other question? Oh, Scala at night. I have been asked to do that before, but it's an hour and a half away at best at night. So I don't really go over there, especially now the winter's coming, because it'll be cold. But if I happen to be around, then I will film it. So that's another question answered. The restaurant down by the lighthouse that closed, that was next door to the caravan park. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Somebody told me there was a dispute and it's closed. I don't think it's going to be reopening next year unless somebody takes it on.
but I will try and keep you guys informed. As for the bike and the last week's video with me blurring the speedo out, yeah, well, you see, the problem is the speedo is not only is it in kilometres, which confuses some people, so it looks like I'm going faster than I actually am. It's also not correct. Yeah, because I wouldn't condone speeding. No, that's a bad thing to do. That's against the law. And yeah, we've got a new operative in the office now, Catface. Say hello, Catface. Yeah, she's not feeling very sociable at the minute. She got chucked out of Hobbit Hall for moaning a lot, and I've ended up with her. Anyway, she'll keep the rats down because there are rats around this area because of the chickens next door. So I'm hoping that will solve that problem. Anyway, back with the video. And now it's time for the news from around the world, and Kefalonia in particular, with Rudgy. Welcome back, and here is your news from Caravados, Kefalonia and around the world. The Augustoli police force have been out in force this week. They managed to do a major drug bust by the Deposit Bridge. They arrested a duck for selling quack. The weather this week has been pretty inclement, and unfortunately the low cloud meant that several flights were diverted or delayed. That famous pirate Timboat Andy that used to frequent the River Dart and now apparently is in Ireland, he flew in to see the Rudge, that famous YouTuber we have on the island. His plane unfortunately was diverted to Athens, I think. Anyway, it's over to Rudgy, who has more on this particular subject.
Yeah, thank you, Rudgy. Yeah, there was some disruption yesterday with the weather. Although the rain wasn't biblical on Kefalonia, we hear that Zakynthos suffered quite badly. Some of the roads turned into rivers, etc. There was some pretty low cloud, though, over Kefalonia Airport, which caused a lot of disruption here. Planes being cancelled. And in actual fact, Timbo Andy, that well-known pirate from the River Dart, who now apparently is hauled up in Ireland, his plane was diverted to Athens. He was coming out to visit the famous doctor, Pirate King. Yeah, his plane was diverted to Athens, and they spent 2 hours in the plane while they waited for another slot to try and land here in Kefalonia. We've also had reports that several flights were cancelled last night, and people were having to be put up in hotels until the airlines could find other slots. So yeah, it's caused quite a lot of chaos. Anyway, as you can see, everything is back to normal now, and we hope everybody's going to enjoy their holiday.
Well, thank you, Rudgy, for that. And now it's time for the weather with our reporter, Rudgy, somewhere on the premises.
Γεια σας, Ρudgy. Ευχαριστώ. Τραπεζάκι, πολύ βρασί. Καραβάτος, πολύ βρασί. Αργοστόλι, πολύ βρασί. Λιξίρι, πολύ βρασί. Πολύ βρασί. Πολύ βρασί. Ναι. Addio, Rudgy. Addio.
Well, that's your weather. In other news, a recent study from the Athens University has revealed that 5 out of 4 people struggle with maths. And that's your news from Caravados, Kefalonia, and around the world. Thanks for watching.
Right, so that was this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. And remember, dreams come true, true story, and wherever you go, there you are. If you haven't already, as I said at the top of the show, please hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, sit back and enjoy the ride. And if you visited the Coffee and PayPal page, that's a huge support to me. I don't think you guys realise that. That helps make these videos. You know, I don't think I'll be able to carry on. I'm a pensioner now, after all. I know I don't look it, girls, but I am a pensioner, and I could apply for a bus pass if I needed to. Although it wouldn't be much use to me now, would it? But there you go. Anyway, yeah, let me show you a view before we finish this video from up here, because it's somewhere I don't come very often. So yeah, you've got Augustoli there spread out, and where the cruise liners come in, and the quayside, and the disused marina, although people are using it, the lagoon. And then you've got what I call the coastal road, which takes you through to Mitus, and eventually, if you keep going, Kefalonia. And then if you were to go straight on up that way, you can't really see much of it, but where those windmills are, there's a road that takes you over and brings you out at the crossroads for Mitus and Kefalonia. You've got the industrial estate down there, and then the dual carriageway which runs there, that's Lidl's just there. A bit further up, you've got Christie Cross and A and B, which you can see clearly there. And the road all the way up to the castle where I get my meat from is just up there, the meat market. There's your castle and Castro's Cafe. If you haven't been in there, you've got to try that out, Castro's Cafe Bar. And of course, those two hills are the village that I live in. And you've got Zakynthos over there. There you go. That's your view.